So Donegal 118, or Dublin 118, Donegal 114. Almost mixed that up there, but Dublin get the victory, 4 points in the end. Dublin are through to the National Football League final that, of course, won't be taking place. But unless Dublin and Kerry end up in an All-Ireland final. But obviously that's the All-Ireland final. It's a separate competition. But yeah, in the end, Dublin have got the victory. They've ran out 4-point winners at Kingspan Breffni Park. In the end, comfortable enough really from a Dublin point of view. Donegal started definitely the brighter quite early on. They hit the first two scores with Michael Langan and O'Donnell obviously getting on the score sheet. And certainly in the early stages, Donegal were quite impressive. It actually took until I think about the 27th minute until Dublin actually took the lead for the first time in the game. But you always felt that Dublin were just kind of easing their way into the game. They were taking the game at a slow pace. They didn't go full all-out attack at the start of the game. They were certainly just working their way into the game and not trying to do anything over expansive or try anything, over the top really. And, obviously you had Niall Scully, who actually had an attempted lob on the 7th minute. I'm not too sure if you've seen Gavin White's lob early on in the game, but it was interesting that Sean Patton was caught off his line, and we could have easily had a scenario where we seen two lobbed goals by two of the best teams in the country on the same day. That would have been quite a story. But yeah, to be fair to Donegal, I thought they done quite well defensively. I thought they were set up very well on the first half. They were very much set up, to contain Dublin. They didn't really take the game to Dublin in any way. You could tell they were very wary of Dublin's attack and threat. And I think considering the goals that Donegal have shipped in recent weeks, I think the main thing for Declan Bonner's men really coming into this game was really just to solidify at the back, and not allow Dublin to run through them, because I don't think losing this game is the biggest deal in the world for Donegal. As we, stated in the preview very much, there's no league final, obviously. So it didn't really make a difference whether they won this game or not. But I think if they had been on the receiving end of something like what Tyrone were on earlier, it would have been much worse for Donegal to go into the Ulster Championship against Down and obviously Derry then afterwards. If they had been absolutely hammered by Dublin, it would have done their confidence no good whatsoever. So look, listen, in the end, Dublin, of course, getting the victory, of course. Just running through some of the scores on the day, I suppose, from a Dublin point of view. First of all, you had Cormac Costello with 6 points. You had Kieran Kilkenny, of course, getting 2 points. Brian Howard was very impressive as well with a point. But Paddy Small, man of the match for me. I'm amazed that TG Cahir didn't give him man of the match. I thought he was fantastic. He scored 1-3 on the day. Thought he was really, really bright indeed. Getting that goal, just a really well taken goal, taking it around Sean Patton, slotting it in the back of the net. And it came at a crucial time for the Dubs as well, because the game was very much even. And then as soon as that goal went in, Dublin just very much controlled the flow of the game, controlled the tempo after that. And there was no way that Donegal could ever really find a way back into the game after that. So Paddy Small was man of the match for me. I thought he was brilliant. Colin Basquel didn't score. I thought he was very quiet. He didn't really do much in the game. He was named at 13, but from what I see, he was drifting around the half-forward line. Con O'Callaghan with 3 points was man of the match on TG Cahir. I would have given it to Paddy Small personally. Although Con did have a brilliant game as always. Not just his points, but his link-up play I thought was brilliant. And yeah, you even had Aaron Byrne, who came off the bench, scored an outrageous point late on in the second half. I thought he was fantastic. And Sean McMahon, a cornerback, had a really impressive game from a Dublin point of view. I think he's really almost nailed down that position now going into the championship. I think he started every league game from what I remember. From a Donegal point of view, we know the injuries that they have. Oisín Gallen obviously comes back into the side. Didn't score in the end, dropped a couple of shots wide, had that opportunity, of course, where Evan Comerford made the save. So on another day, you could easily say that Oisín Gallen probably could have had a goal and a couple of points, but he ends up with nothing, and that will be a bit of a disappointment from him and from Declan Bonner. Michael Langan with 2, Paddy McBrearty with 6, Oran McNeilish with 1. But one player that did catch the eye actually was Owen McGettigan, who came off the bench. He finished with 1-1. And that was a very well taken goal towards the end of the game. Although Evan Comerford won't want to see that one back again. He was definitely caught out of position. He rushed out too quickly, allowed Owen McGettigan to race around him and put it into the back of the net. And at that stage, anyway, it didn't really mean anything. The game was pretty much over, and I think Donegal even knew that. Like they didn't go all out attack to try and level this game, because ultimately there was really nothing on the line. On fire there says a bit of a funny game, I thought, but Dubs again never really put the foot down. Hard to know what to take from a small man of the match for me too. Yeah, it was. They were in second gear pretty much for probably the whole of the National League, but I think it says a lot when they're in second gear for the whole of the National League and they're still unbeaten. They're still beating these teams quite comfortably without there ever being a problem. I mean, Kerry are going full tilt. They're going all out attack. They're probably expanding the majority of their energy in the league at the moment. And look, listen, they've been brilliant. Probably the best team in the league. But Dublin have been nowhere near peak level. And yet there's, there would have been a National League final between the two teams. They're still very much at the same level, I suppose. So it was interesting. And yeah, there kind of isn't really anything else to say really about this game. It was comfortable. Dylan Duffy there says, I'm disappointed Donegal lost. Up Donegal, well done Dublin. Yeah, I suppose unlucky with that result, Dylan. But in the end, it didn't really make a difference, because there was no league final. There was nothing really on the line. And I think it's a bit of a moral victory for Donegal with the fact they weren't beaten by 10 to 15 points, because if they would have been, then I think, they would have went into the Ulster Championship a little bit low on confidence going into it. But yeah, in the end, it was a comfortable win for Dublin. They controlled the tempo, they controlled the flow of the game. Never really ever looked like losing the game, especially when they took the lead. And I suppose for Donegal, when you look at their National League campaign, when you look at the injuries that they've had, with Michael Murphy and Oisin Gallen had injuries at some point as well, Neil McGee, a lot of different injuries in that team. And they had to try a couple of... Brendan McCole came in at cornerback, was impressive at times today. So they had to try different things out, and they've shown a lot of fight and spirit, which probably can't be said for a lot of teams in Ulster at the moment. And, you'd probably have Donegal as the favourites maybe to win the Ulster Championship. It's hard to know what level Derry are at, whether Derry could really beat Donegal, I'm not sure. But looking at it from the games this weekend and the games I've seen in Ulster so far, Donegal, maybe in Armagh or something like that, could win Ulster. But Donegal are best placed, and I think the most important thing is getting those players back fit, like Michael Murphy and the rest of them, and then they really should crack on and challenge for an Ulster, at least win it or come close, get to a final at the very minimum, I suppose. But in the end, Dublin getting the 4-point victory. We'll go ahead and wrap this up here anyway. Comfortable win in the end for the Dubs going into the Leinster Championship. I suppose Dublin have the small matter of either Wexford or Wicklow coming up next, so that'll be that'll be interesting, won't it? That'll be interesting. I suppose maybe not for a Wicklow or a Wexford fan, but yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here anyways. Leave a like, subscribe if you can. Kindly appreciate it. And yeah, there'll be another video out later, Dublin Donegal reaction with a Donegal fan that you might have seen on the channel before. So stay tuned for that.